Welcome to the Lift Your Story podcast with guest Travis Bell, the world's #1 bucket list expert. Hi, everyone. I am Lorianne. I am that gal from Milton, Ontario, Canada, and I am with...
I am that guy. I am Roy Miller from Dallas, Texas. Welcome to our Lift Your Story podcast.
And we are really pleased to have today Trav Bell, or Travis Bell, whichever one you want, but he is the world's #1 bucket list expert, and we're very pleased to have him with us today. Thank you.
I haven't even said anything.
I know.
All the way from down under.
Down under. I'm from the future. Roy, Lorianne, stoked to be on, but I'm from the future. It's Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. I'm only one coffee in, by the way.
Oh,
so, no. At the end of the day, I'm from the future. Yep.
Woo. Travis, you're an author. You
Yes,
got a book, My Bucket List Blueprint.
Yes.
Tell us how you came about writing that book.
Well, mate, if you really want to know the warts and all story, it took me, and if you're listening to this will make no sense whatsoever, but if you're watching this, I'm holding up my book right now, which is called the My Bucket List Blueprint, Amazon bestseller, believe it or not, and it's only about this thick. It's only about, as we say, it's less than a centimetre thick, all right, which is less than an inch. And it took me 10 years to write it, Roy. That's pathetic, isn't it?
10 years.
So talk about an overnight best-selling author, best-selling author overnight. It took me 10 years. Talk about a battle of procrastination and perfectionism. I'm pretty good at speaking to groups and inspiring people from the stage, but I'm shit when sitting down in front of a computer for long periods of time and writing a book. So I had to get some help, but I can't believe I'm going to say this too, Roy. Thank you, COVID, because it actually helped me lock me in my cave and get it done. And so I published it 2 weeks before Christmas, and it's been really good. But it's like I've talked to thousands of people around the world, hundreds of thousands of people around the world, the last 10 years. And they've all gone, "Oh, great speech, Trav. Can I buy your book? Where can I buy your book?" I'm like, "Oh, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming." So thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars have vanished because I didn't have this freaking book written. Now I've got the book written, but I'm not traveling around the world doing any speeches because of freaking COVID. So riddle me that one.
Well, it's interesting because we interviewed a lot of authors, and they did say the same thing you said. COVID was the best things that happened to them as far as
it has been, honestly,
and getting their books done.
Yeah, it's been good, and it's a way of getting your expertness out there in the world. And there's no look. It is perfect timing. I make fun of it, of course, but it was a big one on my bucket list to actually author a freaking book, and basically to go to my English teachers back in high school. Look, I did it. So you wouldn't. So I swear I'm gonna find them. I'm gonna send them an autographed copy.
So to anybody who's sitting here wondering why I was laughing when I started on this, and we actually did have a little bit of a conversation prior to with Trav, and he asked if it was okay if he used nasty words, and I said, "Do you have the other list?" So speak to the other list.
Oh, look, the other list is we've got 3 types of bucket lists, all right? And I refer to this when I do speeches, even in my TED talk. I refer to 3 lists. So, Roy, we've got a future bucket list, and a future bucket list is all the shit that we want to do before we die, right? It's pretty straightforward. But there was a really shit movie made about this bucket list too. It had a bloke by the name of Jack and Morgan as stars in that movie. But the movie is shit because the movie is about 2 blokes who get given a cancer diagnosis and then they write a bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
So don't do that. Don't wait until you get given a use by date to write your freaking list, right? My whole job is my mission, should I say, is to wake people up before they get given the use by date. You know, I'm sure you guys are the same with your mission. And so we've got this future bucket list. There's all the stuff that we want to do before we die. That's pretty straightforward. And a lot of us think that is about travel and all the things we want to do in retirement and things like that. But you know, travel is very expensive, takes a lot of time, and a lot of people wait until someday or the perfect time or retirement or way too late before they try and do their bucket list. But I've written my bucket list blueprint to help people sort of go north, south, east, west in their own brain and help them extract and articulate one of these personally meaningful and holistic lists, right? So travel is only one component of those 12, categories. So it gives people a real tangible, I say a bucket list is a tangible life plan, right? So check this out. It's a tangible life plan where our career plan or our business plan should fit into our life plan and not be the other way around. So it really brings home this work to live principle. And so that's what the whole premise of the bucket list blueprint is all about, and helping people be happier now, not until later on in life, because we know that with the mental health stats right now, it's out of control. Depression, I've been through depression, anxiety, and the overprescription of antidepressants, suicides, youth suicides. We've even got this thing now called the loneliness epidemic. It's the adverse effect of social media, right? We're all comparing our behind the scenes footage with someone else's highlights reel, and it's having a big effect on us. And even the engagement levels at work these days is like 89% disengagement in America, right? And it's about 70% in Canada and Australia as well. So there's like 70 to 90% of people who go to work every day are just not into it. Yet they spend maybe 40 years of their life doing this shit. So, and we live in this delayed gratification society. I'll be happy when syndrome. So I've written this and I do what I do to help people be happier now. But I went with the bucket list guy rather than the happiness guy. It's just more of a fit. So that's the future bucket list. And primarily it was written for that. We've got this other list called the reverse bucket list. Reverse bucket list is a big gratitude exercise. It's helping people identify all the cool shit they've done in their life as if they were on a bucket list all the way along. So I know Laurie Ann has done some crazy fucking things in her life. I can already tell, and we've just met. True? Guilty?
True.
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Now, if we had time, Roy, which we don't, I know that Laurie Ann could spin a yarn and tell us and tell us some quite probably X-rated stories about what she's actually done in her life. Again, we haven't got time for that now. But at the end of the day, this is what one of the pillars of positive psychology is helping people have more gratitude in their life. Everything that I teach, right, is based on positive psychology. I've just put this bucket list brand over the top of it, right? So positive psych is about helping people identify what gives them more meaning, pleasure, and fulfillment, and more gratitude, and go to their strengths more in life and just doing more of that in work and in life. Right? So gratitude is one of the pillars of positive psych. Reverse bucket list is everything that you want to do in your life as if it were on a bucket list. It gives people a really strong foundation to then, plan the future. The other list that Laurie is talking about is chapter 13 in the book. It's the bucket list, straight up. It's all the shit you just do not want to do. All right? And I think that's where we're going. I gave a long answer, but I didn't want to cut to the chase. It's a bucket list. So I know I can go to, go do a talk to a corporate team and a, big exec conference or something. And I'm like, put up my, when I go out on stage, I used to have a mohawk. I got a mohawk when I turned 40. It was my fuck you 40 haircut. That's honestly, I got that. And I got, ink on the hands and, yes, it says bucket list.
Oh, it does. Look at that. He has tattoos on his hands that say that. That's really cool.
I figured that's what it said. I couldn't tell.
Fake. It's fake. I got it. I got it done. It is fake. No, I got it done just for this podcast and just for this moment.
That's very cool.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. It's real. It hurt like fuck. And Things you do, right? So I know, Roy, you've just put that on your bucket list too, haven't you? Let's get some
No,
hand
I'm gonna have it different. I'm gonna have the F before that.
bucket list. I'll take 10% of that because it's in my book. But the point is, you've got this bucket list, and I know I go and talk to these groups, and I know like half the audience, you know, they're at a conference, they're probably hungover, and they're just going, mate, fuck that. I don't want to go to Mount Everest. I don't want to run a marathon. I'm just trying to pay the mortgage and put food on the table. And you've got to be realistic, right? But it really is, the whole concept is about pushing. People are dying at 40 and being buried at 80.
Exactly.
Beautifully said. I love that.
People are living by default, not by intentional design. People are just existing and not living. They're sleepwalking through their life. And we know people are just sleepwalking through their life. I see dead people. You know, you see dead people.
Yeah.
And sometimes they see dead people in the mirror. So at the end of the day, it's about waking people up and be, more importantly, not just for yourself, but be the example for kids to follow. Right? Be someone who's fun, who's adventurous, who's not who is glass half full, not half empty, and stretches their comfort zone. That's what life's all about. That is the human experience. On the other side of your bucket list is a you that you do not know yet. And I want people who are watching and listening to this right now to get curiously excited about that.
Can I ask you a question though? Because I have children and they're in their 20s and early 30s. And it seems to me, particularly there's one in particular, and that would be about 27 years old. And you were saying that, you know, what were you saying? They live till they're 40, but they die at 80. But I'm finding that younger generations are so exhausted with the economy and feeling that they're not getting anywhere, and with the prices going up and their jobs not paying more and all of this. I don't mean to be negative about this, but this is a truth, and you're the perfect person to talk to. Is how do you give them that feeling that no, we are still worth something, and we don't want to stop believing at 27 or 30 or whatever. We do have a future bucket list.
Yeah. Look, you know, and one of the, you know, the takeaway, people watching, listening to this, the takeaway is obviously, look, get a book if you want, or just watch my TED talk, listen to this, but just, you know, get the My Bucket List Blueprint and you know, where is it? Remember this thing? What's that?
A pen.
Hey?
A pen.
Do you know what this is?
A journal.
Yep.
What's that?
Yeah, this is a journal.
A journal. A book
full of
that you
paper.
can write in,
Paper.
whatever, pieces of paper.
What is it? So Roy, what does it do when you put that on there? What does it do?
Yeah, you put your pen to the paper.
It fucking writes, Roy.
Right. Yeah.
All right. It writes. So the deal is, Lorianne is the best, honestly, the best audience. The deal is that so many people don't write down their goals, let alone their bucket list items. Their bucket list items, like their goals, they're up there with their daily to-do list, and guess which one gets done on a day-to-day basis first?
Yeah.
And it's not until something dramatic or traumatic happens to you or a loved one that you suddenly reprioritize on this bucket list concept, right? We are so busy being busy. It's like this weird badge of honor that we carry around with us all day. And we brag to each other, you know, like, dude, how are you? Oh, I'm so busy, mate. Well, are you bragging or complaining? What are you doing? Look, it's, it is I think it's a pandemic, this busyness pandemic that we're all facing right now. And the thing is, I've got 4 kids, Lorianne. So I've got 4 kids, and they are 23, 22, and 2 14-year-old boys that live with us, right? So my advice to them, which I'm not backwards in coming forwards, is not to tell them anything, but to be the example for them to follow. Be the example, you know, really live the message. Hey, here's another one. Switch off the fucking news.
Oh, definitely do that.
Yes.
Switch off your notifications. Unfollow, unsubscribe from dickheads, right? It's not hard. Everyone's got control. Everyone's got their own filters that they need to be putting in place more so we do and can have the power to control our inputs. I've been through depression. One of the two best things that I did was to switch off the news, because we start and finish the day with predominantly bad news, except for when it's the Olympics. Right?
Even that these days is not all that great either.
Yeah, no, Australia's going really well. Our best Olympics ever. So, but it's not coronavirus off the headlines. It's been fantastic. It's positive.
Yeah.
And also the other thing is switching off notifications, controlling your input. You know, like and actually choosing, consciously choosing who you're hanging around with. You know, the keeping up with the Joneses happens in not just in buying stuff to fit in with your peers, not just trying to keep up with everyone, but really standing out on your own and being okay with this. I tell my kids, the sooner you stop caring about what other people think of you, the better you'll be.
Definitely.
Right? Honestly. And the sooner you switch off notifications and stop being the bitch of their world and their agenda and start creating your own and maybe letting other people be your bitch. That's actually how I talk to my kids. The sooner you will be, you'll be discovering yourself as a leader. The sooner you develop the sooner you develop that little muscle on your body called the I don't give a fuck muscle. All right. The I don't give a fuck muscle, Roy, sits about here. It's a real little muscle that just right there. And the sooner you develop that, the better.
So
I've had that for a long time.
Yeah. You didn't even know you were working it out, right?
I've had that muscle since I was a teenager.
Yeah, and you've got two of them. It's
okay. So if you're listening to this podcast, you have to understand there are 5 fingers on your hand, and you can figure out what one was being, shown as the muscle. Little one.
Yeah.
Well, because there are people listening, so they're
it's
not.
The one in the middle with 2 brackets.
Right?
It's the one in the middle with 2 brackets around it.
That's a perfect way of saying it. It's funny because a lot of what you're saying today, my daughter and I had conversations about that, and it's really ridiculous when you go to a restaurant and you've got 2 people sitting there on the phone, and like a boyfriend and a girlfriend across from each other at a restaurant. And I said, what are they doing? Are they actually texting each other? She goes, yeah, they're probably sending them each other TikToks that are funny or happy memes. And I'm going, and they can't talk. Put the phone down.
And that's an interesting, that distraction muscle is something that we're all trying to train at the moment. And for a person that says to me, oh yeah, I don't do that. I don't. Bullshit. You do. Everyone does. That we do, right? But the more conscious we are of that, the better. So I've been talking about this a lot lately. And I stole it from Gary Vee, and that is our attention is our most valuable commodity. Right? We're in the attention arbitrage business where we trade attention with each other. So right now I am on your podcast. My phone is upside down. I've got nothing else open. There's no tabs. I'm not getting any notifications. I'm just with you guys. And to actually give that attention to someone on a moment to moment during your day, and I'm talking to kids as well, like to give that to your kids, to give that to your exercise program. When you're in the gym, you're not on your phone. You're just doing the thing that needs to be done, and you probably get it done in a shorter amount of time. So if you go from attention to it, there is no such thing as life balance or multitasking. That is all bullshit, right? It's just what you're paying attention to. Be obsessed with everything in your life. There is no balance. Balance is bullshit. I say we don't have work-life balance. We never did. That was an 80s term that was thrown around to make us all feel better. But we live in a day and age where we're all redefining what work-life blend looks like right now. It's not work-life balance, it's work-life blend. And be obsessed about everything. Nothing wrong with that.
I have to say, I was just guilty about that because when you said you were on TikTok, I was trying to find you on TikTok and it came up because I'm curious about what you're like on TikTok. And I should have put my phone upside down and said, I could wait to the end of this, but you're so funny that I couldn't wait to actually add you on. And that happened.
I'm not even on TikTok.
I'm 58 years old and I'm still doing this kind of thing. I'm like the teens, for God's sakes.
Who gives a shit? You know, like as long as it floats your boat. But if Roy, I don't know the situation, if Roy's your business partner and you're spending 8 hours a day doing TikTok dances, if I was Roy, I'd be having a conversation with you about productivity. Unless you're a TikTok influencer and is bringing in fucking millions.
Yeah.
Right. But the deal is
then he
how
could
you're paying
argue
attention. Kids spell love Time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. The time you spend with them.
Yeah.
With them.
Beautiful.
Not around them, but with them.
Yes.
Yes.
And so does everyone else. Everyone spells it the same. We could spell, it starts with an A. It sounds like, it's attention.
Yeah.
You can spell love attention.
Yeah.
And so, like I carry that forward and look, how does this relate to bucket list? What are you paying attention to? Paying attention to your daily to-do list, paying your attention to your life list, and being the example for others to follow. So this is really, some call it selfish. I call it self-leadership. It's a practice of self-leadership and living your life intentionally.
Well, now I have a question for you. Sorry, Roy, just quickly, because I was talking to my daughter today again, because we were on the phone for way longer than I have been for a long time, which was wonderful. Attention. But I did bring up the fact that I said sometimes I feel that I lived my life being selfish with my own time for me. But is that selfish though, if you're taking time for yourself and making sure that you're right? So that's kind of like it's an odd thing, but I do admit to the fact that I am selfish with my time when I want to be with myself and be with doing my thing.
Well,
I sometimes think that I'm not giving enough time to other people.
As a mum and as a female, that is inherently what a lot of people feel guilty about. Guys don't give a shit. We're hopeless. me all day. Okay. So my parents are still alive, thank God, and I, as their older son and hopefully more mature, looking down on the situation, I want them to be happy. I want them to be taking more time for themselves. I want them to be living their bucket list, showing me what the example is like at 80, 75, 80 years old. I want them to show me the example. I want them to be happy. God, I want them to be happy. I want them to spend all their money.
Yes.
That's the thing. But when I was a little brat, it was completely opposite. But when you get more older and mature, your kids will love you for being you, love you more for being just living your life. I won't say selfish because it's got a negative connotation.
Yeah.
But for living your purpose, doing more of what gives you meaning and fulfillment, and living your version of your regret-free life, not of someone else's.
Beautifully said. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think we tend to live to work nowadays. And to your point, your bucket list, you need more experiences instead of material things. That that material thing needs to change.
Yeah,
Or you're going
yeah.
for experiences, memories that you can have with your family, you know.
Yeah, well, that's what it's all about. You know, like when I started this bucket list thing, it was about me, and now it's about we. It's about what I can do with and for other people. You know, I'm actually quite a minimalist. So I don't really have a lot of stuff, and I just don't get it. Because I know that it's, you know, like when I get older, I don't have a use for the Lambo. Not that I have a Lambo, wouldn't mind a Lambo, but I'm not going to, I'd rather have a shitload of property than a Lambo, you know? So, and because I've developed that muscle, I really don't care what other people think. So maybe when I was 20, a Lambo could have been cool, but I reckon that would have lasted probably, you know, maybe 5 good years, and then people really don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I've got mates that have got Lamborghinis and got all the material things, and you go, oh, that's cool. But you know what? I've traveled around the world, and I've traveled with some amazing people, and been to the top of the world, and you know, just done all of these, you know, like my version of my bucket list, and there's lots more to go. But that for me is my definition of the human experience. For them, it's completely different. And I'm not telling anyone who's watching or listening to this how to live their life. No, I'm just giving you maybe a framework for you to map into your life if you choose to. But if you're happy as fuck, then I'm not going to presume that you're not. You know, this could be just the icing on the cake for some people, which it has been. You know, and they're already fulfilled. They've already got amazing, and that's cool. But for some, this could be the absolute lightning bolt for you changing, going from an unhappy place to a happy place, unfulfilled to fulfilled, regretful life to regret-free. You know what I mean? So it just depends on where a person's at, and it depends on their situation. The last thing, because I'm a coach by trade, I guess, and the last thing where coaches screw it up is they presume that their model of the world or a model of the world is better than that person's. It's like, you don't know me. So I don't presume anything. I don't say this book is for everyone. But if there's a part of you that is unfulfilled, you know, if I got you to go, okay, on a fulfillment scale, 1 to 10, like art scale for 10 out of 10 in fulfillment, where are you at? Mate, I'm at 5. Oh, here's some tools. Now let's close that gap. But you got to want to do it. You got to be motivated. You got to be inspired to actually want to change. If you're like, all right, I'm 5 and I'm happy being 5, all right, shut the fuck up. Just whatever you do, don't complain.
And that's the thing. People will say sometimes, if you had to do it all over again, I haven't had the best life. Many people have gone through this stuff. But they said, if you had to do it all over again, would you? I said, damn right I would. I don't regret anything. I don't want to be 20 years old again. I don't want to go back there again and start all over again. I have no regrets.
I would have been a lot
been
smarter
tough
with money
times.
if I was 20 again.
Wouldn't we all? Wouldn't we all?
Oh, God, the amount of money I spent, I should own a franchise chain of bars with the money I spent, you know. But you know, that's a whole other thing.
But you have fun, and I think that your bucket list book is, like you said, somebody who's 50% is worthwhile reading, because those people who don't go back. What did you call it? The other one though, from taking no regrets from what? So you have the 3 different versions.
I'll paraphrase. You know, here we go. This isn't a fake Zoom background too, guys. This is, if you're watching, this is actual. There's actual books in this one. I haven't read any of them. That's not the point. It makes me look smarter. Look, at the end of the day, I have read them actually. I'm actually doing a bucket list thing at the moment, and that is reading 52 books in a year. 52 books in 52 weeks. So that is what I've read so far when I started. That bit there. Yeah, we sort of started it like War and Peace, you know, like fucking like really small font, and I reckon I'm going to end up at like Mr. Men books. You know, Roy, if you've got a one-page PDF that we can call a book, send it my way, and I can cross that one off.
Roy and I have actually. We're going to send you this one. We're going to send you this one. We're going to send you this one's really fast to read, so there you can put that one on there too.
Yeah.
What does it say? Hampy.
Hampy, yeah. It's
Wow.
only about 52 pages and it's all drawings, so you'll get through that one in 2 seconds.
Oh, fuck. That'll probably take me a month. Thank you. The point being that this is the top 5 regrets of the dying. The number one regret that people have. The number one regret. If you know this story, it's about Bronnie Ware, who's a palliative care nurse, who hung out with old people at a nursing home, and interviewed there for her blog. She interviewed the top 5 regrets of the people that were obviously on their way out. The number one regret is I wish I lived a life true to myself rather than what others expected of me. Another one is I wish I let myself be happier.
Yeah.
You know, but I wish I lived a life true to myself. So what does that actually mean? That we've been trying to please our parents, please our peer group, please everyone else but ourselves. You know, so when are you going to, listeners and watchers, when are you going to give yourself the fucking permission to actually live your life and not someone else's? Like, to be true to you. Uncover it, use this as a guide, but uncover all the shit you want to do. And there's going to be some stuff on there that take a lot of time and money, and, you know, that's all well and good. But once you uncover it, you can do a lot of the stuff on your bucket list just with intention, just with like getting it. We want to get it out of your head, articulate it, put it down on paper, and cross off, you know, start crossing off the ones that are really the low-hanging fruit, that are just easy to do, that don't require a lot of resources. But what we're doing is crossing off those smaller ones gives you the momentum and motivation to smash through the bigger ones. It's about choosing happiness.
Love it.
So Travis, how can our listeners get your book?
They can go to Amazon, of course, but they won't get my amazing autograph on that one. But if they go to thebucketlistguide.com/book, they'll be able to get a signed version. And we even ship to Canada. I mean, that's amazing, isn't it?
Well, you know, it's kind of like that attic up there we forget about here in the States.
Yeah, what's that?
I said, it's kind of like that attic we have up there that we forget about in the States.
That's what they call Canada, and you're the basement they forget about in the States.
See, Roy, it's funny when I say it because I'm way over here in Australia. It's a little bit close to home there.
No. I just said that you're the basement and we're the attic, and the US is in between that, right?
And then
it's okay. I can't wait. I know that, by the way,
oh my God. It's about to get weird. Come on.
I love you being here, but I do have to say, Roy, what's one place you want to go to that's on your bucket list?
Australia.
There you go.
You haven't been here, Roy?
No.
Neither have I.
Do you know Americans hold the least amount of passports per capita on Earth?
Really?
Yep. You guys don't travel that much.
Not like they do in Europe and everywhere else, that's for sure.
And in Australia even. It takes, you know, it's a couple of grand each way if we want to leave Australia and go somewhere. Yeah. We hold, us and New Zealanders and Saudi Arabians for some reason, we hold the most amount of passports per capita, per population. There's actually, it's funnily enough, there's a big movement to have a compulsory gap year between high school and university for Americans.
Really?
Why would that be?
Yeah.
Breed more tolerance, breed more open-mindedness, maybe less wars. Who knows? Yeah. Just saying.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
now
interesting.
There's some trivia I did not know, and Roy, I bet you didn't either. So there we go.
No, I didn't. No, I sure didn't.
There you go.
Seriously, Travis, Trav, it's been awesome having you on here, and thank you for the laughter, and everything that you're talking about was so spot on. And, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
No, thank you guys. Thanks for the platform. Happy to do a round 2. I'm sure we've got more to talk about. I want to hear what's on Roy's bucket list. Personally,
my wish list.
No, he doesn't
No.
have I have the bucket list. He has the bucket list.
The 2 things on my bucket list is going to Ireland and Scotland and going to Australia. So we're planning a trip to go to Ireland and Scotland next year because we couldn't go this year because of COVID.
yeah.
It was our 50th anniversary trip we wanted to take.
Mm.
We had to push that off, and then after that, Australia is the next one.
What are some
No,
non-travel? What are some non-travel ones that you want to do though?
Non-travel ones? Well, pretty
Read the
much.
book, Roy.
Most of them are
Read
going to
the
require.
book.
Most of them are going to require some travel.
You know
No,
what?
because no. On your bucket list is to finish your book.
Well, that's one thing. Yes, yeah.
Come
Trying
on,
to get
Roy.
my book finished into this month.
Well, you're not traveling, are you? So come on, like me.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's
on.
one thing I want to do is get that
Get it
finished.
done.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's
Awesome.
getting it done. He's doing really
Yep.
well.
Get it done. Getting done. Now, this has been great, guys. Thanks for the platform. Hopefully, we've given people some laughs and things to think about. That's what it's all about. And obviously, if people want to connect with me, they can. If they put in the bucket list guy, Trav Bell, into social media or somewhere, except for TikTok, you should be able to find me.
No,
But I'm not on TikTok. That's what I said.
he's not on TikTok.
Why
what he said.
not? You are going to be after this.
Oh, apparently. Apparently, I'm missing a whole segment of society. The kids are on TikTok. I'm not on there yet, but I did write down at the start of this quarter to get up on TikTok.
Okay, Travis, thanks a lot for being with us. We really do appreciate it.
Totally.
Peace out, guys. No worries. Thanks heaps.
Okay, bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Be sure to visit us at lifterstory.com.